Have you ever met someone who couldn't move on from you? Not because you tried to make them remember, but because something about you stayed with them long after you were gone. What if I told you, that being unforgettable isn't about chasing love? It's about becoming love itself? It's not about manipulation, appearance, or words. It's about the energy you carry, the discipline you live with, and the principles that hold you steady when others drift. In this video, we'll explore 3 Stoic traits drawn from the writings of Marcus Aurelius, traits that, when mastered, make a man impossible to forget. So before we begin, take a deep breath, click subscribe, and like this video if you believe that self-mastery is the real foundation of attraction, and stay till the end. Because the 3rd trait is the one that leaves a permanent mark on a woman's mind, the one she'll think about when she lies awake at night wondering why she can't replace you. Let's begin. Part 1, Authentic Presence. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. B1, Marcus Aurelius. When Marcus wrote these words, he wasn't talking about impressing others. He was teaching that the essence of character is quiet strength, not talk, not performance, but embodiment. Most men today chase validation like thirsty travelers chasing a mirage. They shapeshift to be liked, imitate confidence, and hope attention will fill the emptiness inside. But the Stoic man, he doesn't perform. He becomes. The story of Leon, the man who didn't need to prove himself. Leon was an ordinary craftsman in ancient Rome, calm, disciplined, invisible to most. When others argued about politics or bragged about their influence, Leon listened. When others sought approval, he worked in silence. His hands steady, his eyes focused. One day, a noble woman began buying from his workshop. She noticed how he moved, no rush, no arrogance. Just peace, and over time her curiosity turned into admiration. She once asked him, "Do you never tire of being silent when others boast?" Leon smiled. "I have nothing to prove, my work speaks." That answer, simple, calm, stayed with her far longer than the conversations she had with powerful men. Modern reflection. Women remember men who radiate inner stability. They forget those who demand attention. Why? Because presence is rare. A man at peace with himself becomes magnetic without effort. Authenticity isn't about being perfect, and it's about being real. You can't fake calmness. You can't pretend confidence. It must be cultivated day after day through discipline, reflection, and truth. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to be unmoved by praise or insult. He knew that peace doesn't come from what others think. It comes from integrity. When a man builds his life on values rather than emotions, his energy changes. He speaks slower. He listens more. He carries stillness, and women feel that. They may not understand it consciously, but something about him lingers. He becomes the man she measures others against. That's trait 1, authentic presence. The rare power of a man who doesn't need to perform. Part 2, emotional control. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Every man faces storms, rejection, betrayal, disrespect, loss. What separates the forgettable from the unforgettable isn't how loud they react. It's how quietly they remain centered. When a woman remembers a man with intensity, it's rarely because of his looks. It's because of how she felt around him. She felt safe. She felt steady. And that safety came from his emotional control. The story of Daniel, the calm in the chaos. Daniel was in love, deeply. His girlfriend was emotional, passionate, unpredictable. One night she exploded during an argument, throwing words like daggers, testing him, wanting to see his fire. But Daniel didn't shout back. He didn't match her chaos. He breathed in out slow. When she screamed, "Say something," he simply said, "I'll speak when I'm calm enough to mean it." She left that night furious. But weeks later, she couldn't forget that moment. That silence, his stillness, haunted her. Why? Because she'd never met a man who could master his emotions instead of being mastered by them. Modern reflection. Marcus Aurelius faced betrayal, plague, and war. Yet his meditations read like a man describing sunrise, not suffering. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your estimate of it. A Stoic man learns to pause before reacting. That pause is power. In love, it means not chasing when she pulls away, not arguing when she tries to test your strength, not explaining your worth to someone who can't yet see it. The moment you control your emotions, You become unforgettable because you embody what every human being secretly craves: peace. A woman may not understand why, but she'll replay that calmness again and again in her mind. It becomes a mirror, showing her what real maturity looks like. Part 3. Purpose. A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. Marcus Aurelius. The third and most powerful trait, the one that burns itself into memory, and is purpose. A man with direction moves differently. His eyes have focus, his actions rhythm, his words weight. He doesn't chase love, he builds a life worth loving. Women sense this immediately. They feel when a man's world doesn't revolve around them, but around something higher, and that paradox, his ability to walk alone, makes him unforgettable. The story of Cassius, the man who walked away. Cassius was a philosopher in training, poor but driven. He loved a woman who wanted comfort more than conviction. When she left him for a wealthier man, Cassius said nothing. He simply kept working, teaching, and writing. Years later, she saw him again, not as the boy she left, but as a man others now followed. He didn't need her anymore. And that realization burned her heart, not in bitterness, but in awe, because she saw the one thing money couldn't buy: purpose. Modern reflection. Every man must ask himself, what do I serve that's bigger than me? Without a mission, attraction dies quickly. With one, it grows quietly and deeply. Marcus Aurelius wrote daily, not to impress, but to align himself with reason and virtue. He ruled an empire, yet viewed himself as a servant of destiny. Purpose turns pain into progress, rejection into redirection, and loneliness into preparation. When you live with purpose, you don't chase validation, you chase vision. You don't cling to people, you attract those who align. You don't lose yourself, you expand yourself. And that's what leaves the permanent mark. Because when a woman sees a man still rising after losing her, still focused, still disciplined, she feels it. She realizes that what she left wasn't just a man, it was a movement. That's trait 3, purpose. The light that keeps burning when everything else fades. Part 4. The Stoic Triangle of Memory. Let's bring these 3 together. 1. Authentic presence. You live from truth, not validation. 2. Emotional control. You rule your emotions, not the other way around. 3. Purpose. You serve something higher than pleasure or approval. This triangle forms the core of Stoic attraction. It's not about seduction, it's about sovereignty. A woman doesn't fall for your charm, she falls for your stability. When she meets a man who has mastered himself, her mind registers something ancient, a memory of safety, leadership, and peace. That's why she can't forget you, because the world is filled with men who talk, but empty of men who become. A moment of reflection. Close your eyes for a second. Think of every moment you begged for attention, chased validation, or feared being forgotten. Now imagine letting all of that go. You don't chase. You don't explain. You don't prove. You just are. You are presence. You are calm. You are purpose. That's the man Marcus Aurelius wanted you to be. That's the man who doesn't just get remembered. He gets respected. Final words. So remember, if she can't forget you, it's not because of luck or looks. It's because you became the kind of man who leaves an imprint on the soul. A man who doesn't beg. A man who doesn't break. A man who keeps walking with quiet dignity. The Stoics never chased fame. Yet centuries later, we still speak their names. That's what true masculinity is. Not noise, but legacy. Be the man she remembers, not with longing, but with reverence. Be the one who taught her, through silence and strength, what a real man feels like. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.